everyone, welcome back. Icon here. Thanks for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. And today, I want to break down just a tiny bit of search and destroy. So this comes from the second matchup between Dallas and Seattle. We're playing on Arklov Peak, and I just want to walk through the last 3 rounds. So as we hop into this, you're going to see at the top middle of your screen that Dallas is up 3-2 in terms of round count. And really from here on out, it's going to go all Dallas's way. And when we go through and we talk about the things that Seattle does wrong, these are like real entry-level things that they should not have happening to them. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's easier to explain this as we get into it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let this play, and then I'm going to stop this just here in a second. And the very first mistake is going to come just probably about right here. So first thing here is that they obviously have an A push coming in. So if we go ahead and we draw on screen, you can see that there are 3 Seattle arrows over here, and they're pushing towards A. Now, the problem is that that's a 3v4, right? So if you look at the positioning of the other 2 Seattle players, look at these guys up here. And this right here, you have 2 people essentially playing the same role. This is your first mistake, is that you have 2 arrows looking towards a mid-map, and they're playing the exact same role. So if you're going to have an A push, you at least have to have 4 people on that side of the map so that you have numbers. Because right now, if it's a 3v4, even if you get into a gun battle and you trade it out, you're still going to be a man down. So first thing is that if they're going A, that's fine, but their setup's a little bit off. Now, as this plays out, we'll go ahead, and there are some kills that are going to come through here. So, again, you have 3 people on A, right? So, you have 3 people over at A, and look at this person right here. You're looking at it on screen. How does Shotzzy get all the way through Trench? If you have 3 people on A, how does not one of your players look over towards Trench? So, just to kind of go through this, if you're Seattle, you have 3 people at A, you have nobody watching Trench. So essentially what you have is you have 3 people watching the A flank, so just straight down A, and you have nobody watching your right flank. So neither of your flanks are being watched. And this is going to be the biggest thing that comes back to bite them, is that look at CLAYSTER over here. Throughout this entire map, CLAYSTER ends up dropping like 13 or 14 kills because he knows that there's nobody challenging him on that side of the map. So let's go ahead and let's just let this play through. But essentially, Shotzzy comes in from behind here. There are multiple people right at that A site. And then this is what you need to be watching. So as we watch this, again, there are 2 people still. After everything that's happening at mid-map or over at A, there are still 2 Seattle people playing the same exact role. Yes, there's one down low and there's one up top, but they're looking at the same thing. And this wouldn't be so bad if this was a B push, right? If everybody was going B and they were pushing B immediately, that would be fine. But you can tell now that they're kind of just flying by the seat of their pants because they had 3 people push A to begin with, and now they're just trying to adjust on the fly, but there's no real strategy being set up here. So what we're watching is that character right there. And in the minimap in the bottom left-hand corner, that's where I'm drawing of this, just so that you're aware of what I'm talking about and what I'm pointing to. But here in just a couple minutes, we're going to switch over to CLAYSTER right here, and he ends up flanking from behind. He gets an easy kill on Octane. He doesn't see that person underneath. But as the rest of this round plays out, this is just going to kind of be traded out, and then Dallas is going to end up winning this round. But it's just kind of, you know, if you have a setup here, you're not really watching the left flank. You're not watching the right flank. So as they're going throughout this round, this guy ends up he doesn't get sniped by Illy. He ends up missing. But they do end up trading this out. So Shotzzy sees this. He ends up getting shot right here. So CLAYSTER gets that kill on Slacked. And then there's one other person coming through middle. It's Enable. He's really loud as he runs through here. CLAYSTER gets him as well. Then they end up defusing the bomb, and they get in this round win. So for this round particularly, if you're pushing away, you just have to have all of your routes covered. If you're going A, just have more people over there and you have to have somebody watching Trench, right? That's like search and destroy 101. If you're going A and you're playing Arklov, you have to have somebody watching your most basic flank on the left side of the map there. So First round of what I'm showing you here goes to Dallas, but a lot of it is just the flank discipline. There's nobody watching that.
The one snipe he found was great, but he needs a couple more. Illy, getting his belly wet there, but still as he tries to find a more unique angle to try to catch Octane off.
All right. So in this one, this is clearly an A push, right? I'm going to go ahead and stop this. So as we watch this, this is clearly an A push. There are 4 people on the left side of the map, and CLAYSTER is here in the middle. Now, if you're Seattle, this just seems like everybody feels like they have to do something more, right? It's like they're trying to do too much. When if you're set up, like look at this player right here. Why are you pushed forward so far? Look at this player. Why are you pushed forward so far? Why are you entering the enemy side of the map if they haven't really shown what they're committing to yet? You're just setting yourself up for failure. So as we go through and we play this, you're going to notice that this player right here ends up putting himself at a disadvantage, right? He no longer has the high ground against CLAYSTER, and he has no cover. So that person's going to end up putting himself at a disadvantage. We're not going to be able to see it on screen, but right now that person just goes down. So that person just went down, and then look what comes in behind him. So again, now this player that was up in terms of top B, this player pushes down. He pushes these rockets right here in the middle, and then now he's going to be at a disadvantage against CLAYSTER. So again, this is just putting yourself in an unnecessary situation. Right there, Octane just died to Slack. Illy got a snipe. That person mid-map, which we're not going to see again, but he ends up going down to CLAYSTER. So just think about the last 3 deaths. This death here died from CLAYSTER because they pushed up too far and they didn't need to, right? There was no reason to push up that far on the map yet. This person pushed up too far, so right in the middle of the map, died to CLAYSTER. There was no reason. Now, Illy got a nice snipe on Octane, but this also arrow right here, this is the person that died from their own grenade. So if you're thinking about why isn't Seattle performing very well in Search and Destroy, these are the reasons why. Why are you entering all these situations that you don't need to be? If you have a defensive round, just sit back and play defense. Somebody has to plant, make the enemy team plant, and then once they plant, you can push together and work on trades and, you know, watching different routes and stuff like that. But to begin with, there's no reason to push into these scenarios that you're getting yourselves into.
Kill in a row, that is devastating.
So as we go ahead and just watch the rest of this, there's obviously just one person left. He's on flank, and then when he comes through here, he barges through that door. CLAYSTER's there, and then CLAYSTER's going to end up getting this kill and winning the round. So it just kind of silly plays, right? So as we go ahead, we're going to watch, and you're going to see this exact same thing happens for CLAYSTER again as we get into the 6th round. We'll go ahead and we'll draw what you're going to see from Seattle. So now this is a little bit different. So as we go ahead and stop this real quick, you can see that essentially you have all 5 players and the bomb making an A push, right? Now, what you're going to notice is that as this plays on, they don't have anybody watching the middle route behind them or their flank. Everybody is just focused on pushing forward, which is fine if you're going to do that, but you have to go, right? Throw a smoke, push up the map, because right now you have a 5v4. In fact, right now you would have a 5v3. So even if you get into trouble, you can trade those out. Now, that's not acceptable. You can't allow Huke to have a two-piece right there. But look at what's happening behind them, is that as CLAYSTER comes through here, he's just running down the middle of the map. So he just came straight through the middle of the map. So I know we were watching Huke. Let's go ahead and let's just back this up 5 seconds. And as we go through and we follow, look at where CLAYSTER's at. So he pushed around. Now he's right here. And as he pushes through, he's checking, right? He's looking mid-map. He's looking up top. And as he goes through, there's just nobody there to contest him. So as we follow this, as he goes throughout, you're going to see that. So he's being cautious. Again, I'm not watching what's happening on screen. I'm just watching that arrow. Look at the arrow for CLAYSTER. He's looking around. He's checking all of his corners, looking behind him. He expects somebody to be there. And now they're going to switch to him. And he's going to hop up top here. And then as he hits their flank, he's going to shoot Enable in the back, shoot Octane in the back. There's one other person there. So the only person left is Karma. And then as Karma starts to Push up forward, CLAYSTER gets another kill there. So as we go ahead and close down this video, this stuff is really simple, right? A lot of this just comes down to if you have, now again, offensive rounds in Search and Destroy, they're hard to win to begin with, but it makes it even harder on yourselves if you don't have your flanks locked down. If you're pushing A and you're not watching the trench, that's as elementary as it gets. And with all these players on this team, Karma, Octane, Enable, all these guys, Apathy, that have been there before and have done so much in the Call of Duty scene, I think that those mistakes, they just need a little bit of work. So a lot of that could come down to not really playing the maps all that much or not scrimming these all that often. But these are mistakes that you don't expect players like this to be making. So hopefully they go back and they'll watch this VOD and they'll be able to shore up their offensive pushes a little bit. And then for defense, stop being so aggressive, right? We only watched the one round because I don't want to show them all. But for defense, there's no reason for 4 of your players on that defensive round that we watched to be dying on the enemy's side of the map, right? It's not that they're pushing or they're getting sniped back from their side of the map. They're pushing up further to mid-map and beyond, and they're just putting themselves at a disadvantage. So if we're talking about why Seattle's not really performing well in Search and Destroy, those are a lot of the reasons why. So with that, guys, if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments on this, make sure you put them down below. I like to reply to all of those so that we have some interaction and I can hear what you guys are thinking. So don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.